Hello, I'm Damian Muziani, and welcome to the Best of Hindsight tonight. To mark this week's implementation of new taxes on products from our longitudinal neighbors, we're exporting this tacit tariff tribute. It's the best of Canada and Mexico. Enjoy. Leading off, if you can't beat them, snort them. That's what the Canadian government is seeming to say in the war against drug addiction. Federal licenses were granted to Sunshine Earth Labs in British Columbia last week to legally produce, sell, and distribute heroin, cocaine, and MDMA in Canada. This after the province decriminalized possession of small amounts of opioids, coke, and meth last year. With more on this is Hindsight Tonight's Canadian field reporter, Jace Gabowry. Jace?
Hey, Damien. Good day, buddy. Yeah, so a few years ago, British Columbia decriminalized hard drugs to reduce the stigma and address the toxic drug crisis across the Great White North, If you'd ask me, they should have criminalized being stupid, too, to reduce the stigma of being Canadian. Boy, that was a skookum of an idea. Illegal drug deaths went up 26% the very next year. So instead of sitting around on the old Chesterfield in their ginches sipping a double-double from Timmy's, Health Canada said, hey, we probably should be making some loonies off this one, So they gave out permits to make your own coke. Think about it. They grow cocaine down in Colombia all the time. So British Columbia already has the name. Beauty, It's not called the Great White North up here for nothing. What's next? These hosers are going to hire the Montana Management Company to help distribute? We tried to ask Prime Minister Justin Trudeau for a comment, but he was too busy hiding from revelations that Agents for China gave his dad's foundation $1 million and monkeyed around with federal elections to keep him in power. Roll that up in your doobie and smoke it. Hey, Damien, here's a tip. Fill your boots with all the Canadian Narcan stock you can, buddy. We're headed for a gong show rip-up here,
I'll call my broker right now. Thank you, Jace. Although south of the border ain't no siesta either, it seems, a florist outside Mexico City has been getting the shaft by someone who keeps leaving strange items outside their front door, but nothing like what was placed outside of Rosas de los Mochis flower shop last week. Yep, a severed penis was left inside a wooden box along with a flower wreath and note. Mexican Valentine's Day is clearly in July. The florist has no idea who the appendage belongs to, or used to belong to, I guess is more accurate. Maybe it's a fan of Theon Greyjoy from Game of Thrones. He wasn't just the first president of the Dick in a Box Club, he's also a member. I actually think it's way more offensive than the penile perp actually went out and bought a flower wreath from a competitor and left it outside the flower shop. Now that's just cruel. In this world economy, the shop owner at first thought someone was just throwing away some junk, and they were right. The bomb squad was called in to investigate a suspicious package, and they were right. Oh, what a pisser. Unless you live in Canada, you've probably never heard of Lisa LaFlemme. Her name sounds like a hero from the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but she's actually one of the Commonwealth's most illustrious journalists, serving many roles on camera for CTV National News over the last 3 decades before being unceremoniously fired this June. The question is, why? With the answer is Hindsight Canadian field reporter Jace Gabowry. Jace?
Hey, Damien. Good day, buddy. Yeah, apparently Lisa LaFlemme, she was on TV 30 years up here. That's over 72 years if you factor in the metric system, Won a bunch of awards that looked like somebody's toque blew off in the wind. Anyway, so she was a Canadian sweetheart across the Great White North, but then when the USA infected us with that pandemic in 2020, she couldn't get to the beauty shop, So she stopped coloring up her hair and it went all gray. So then her hosehead boss, who looks like Ferris Bueller, canned her for looking too old on camera, How do you like that? So you got ageism, sex discrimination, and a power play, but not the good kind like in hockey. We're in shock up here, Through the years, Friday night at the Gabowry house included poutine, Molson Ice, and Lisa LaFlemme on the tube,
But today was Cinco de Mayo, the south-of-the-border holiday that commemorates the killing of 1,000 foreigners 162 years ago. And to celebrate, officials there have retrieved the badly burned bodies of 3 American and Australian surfers from 50 feet down a well in Baja Peninsula, where the trio were dumped after being attacked, killed, and singed beyond recognition last week. A clear drug cartel message to visitors seeking recreation in their country, where surf and turf takes on a whole new meaning. Stay bloodthirsty, my friends. And that's your news. Please give us a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you next week with Fresh Hindsight.